Ladies and gents, welcome back guys to part 2 of the GameStop trade. Now this is a public trade that I'm making. In the previous video we had a lot of speculations and I had 14,100 shares I believe. This is the current position that I have open on GameStop. It's the same position, I just reduced my size to 8,500 shares. And I'm up $20,000, of course, after reducing it. And this is the price that this figure was sitting at, basically $29. My average is now $28.30 because I ended up trimming at $33 and buying back in. Somebody has to keep buying the bottoms. Now, this is the current open position, 8,500 shares. If you want to get updates to these constantly, to all my trades, even the future trades that I make, look in the description to the Patreon. With that being said, let us begin with GameStop and what I believe this week coming is going to have in store for us. Now, we know what happened with GameStop, guys. We've seen the share offering, which by the way, in the previous video, we were just speculating on it and we were saying that they were actually doing it as we're speaking. That's because the price was dropping. And some people said, no, there's still more to go. But I ended up being right, and the share offering did happen. They raised $3 billion, $2.1 billion, and they already had another share offering from previously, which was $930 million. So that in total now brings their cash holdings to 4-point-something billion, right? Which is huge. This thing itself, you can create 2 companies with it, 2 GameStops. So we'll cover all of that, and we'll go through the financials. But first, let's just look at the chart, and the chart is set up for a recovery. So if we just go to the weekly, this is 1 week right here, and the weekly looks like it's setting up for the bottom. Like this is, if I just draw for you guys, if you don't know, this specific setup is the bottom. Now usually we would use something like this, a green candle, to say this is the bottom, but this is a unique situation, and we also see situations like this specific setup, okay, where this is the bottom, okay, and the next thing that should follow is something similar to this, okay, or whatever. I don't know how to draw properly with this. Now that's one situation. Another situation is you get a dip and then recovery. So this is all going to be wicks, just like this. Okay, this was a wick because the the GME price has actually broken out from a downtrend. So you notice anything that tries to go down, it will always come back up. So you're going against the grays if you're shorting it or if you're selling it, because now the grays is upwards. I mean, you can see it, right? You can see after years of dipping, now the grays is upward. So every time you try to do something, it will just continuously find buyers. So that's what you have in this specific setup. But it's not fluff. This is a company now with $4 billion on its balance sheet. If we look at the quick ratios previously, so if we look at the, this is a quick ratio, 1.38, 2.11. This quick and current ratio prior to offerings when they only had $1 billion. This showed that the company was healthy already. Their quick ratio now is about 10, and the current ratio maybe about 20 or 15. So this makes the company just powerful just based on the cash they have. And sure, the earnings report wasn't great, but the price here makes sense, guys. The price of $28 makes sense. To some people, it doesn't. It makes sense because now investors are speculating on what's next for the company, the future of the company. We know GameStop itself is a dying company, or the business model of bricks and mortars. We know that. We're not betting on that. We're betting on what comes next. And here's the thing we're going to be doing is speculating on the next. Monday we should get something from the shareholder meeting, but essentially guys, if we just look at the options GameStop has now, Now, they could say, you know what, we'll set up new company. Like, we're going to add a new segment to the gaming segment that we have, selling used, whatever. I doubt they'll do that, right? Because this is a dying business, you know, selling used products or whatever, reselling. That's dying. So the only option they have here is to acquisition, buy a profitable company or an actual company that they just speed up a little bit but needs a little bit of fixing. So buy a new company. Okay, now you're not going to spend $4 billion on that. If you're going to spend $2 billion on a company, it has to at least have 100 million to 200 million net profit a year. If you're spending billions, if you're spending millions, then the company is going to be crappy, but it still adds equity to the GameStop. But if you're spending billions, the company is going to be profitable. It has to. No company is worth billions that's not profitable, or you're willing to pay for it and it's not profitable. It would be stupid. So you're going to buy a new company that's profitable. Automatically, it's going to send the share price double, maybe triple the current share price. But the cash itself is what I'm saying makes sense for this specific company. Because if you remember, at $11, we had $1 billion. Now it's $30 and we have 5 times as that, okay? Or 4 times as that. Now you could say, well, they did share dilution, so it doesn't make sense to make that argument. I agree with you. But people are now speculating on the future, what's next. And this is what happens in stocks. People speculate on the next. Okay, so buy one new company, we said. That's one option. Now, they can also do a portfolio of companies. So they would basically acquire a couple of companies and keep them in a portfolio. Now, look, I've paid for all these softwares and I haven't paid for TradingView because I don't really use charts anymore as a swing trader. I use basic charts. What I use mostly is fundamentals of companies. So this is why I'm telling you guys these things rather than focusing on charts, because what it comes down to eventually is the company itself. So we said a portfolio of companies, right? Portfolio of companies or stocks. So you acquire a couple of companies and you're paying a couple of millions for them, small companies, but you have a portfolio. So you become this Shark Tank, if you will, like, you know, the Shark Tank guys where they go in and finance companies, small companies. So that's portfolio, and it's giving you value as a business, okay? So that's one. Now another thing, which by the way will send the share price for GameStop to the moon, is to acquire Bitcoin, because previous stocks and companies have already showed us what's possible when you acquire Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy. Now you've got even pharmaceuticals like Semler Scientific is also acquiring Bitcoin to have it as a treasury. And that in itself sends the share price higher. And I think companies, or even struggling companies, are finding out that this is the game plan going forward, because everybody wants a little bit of exposure to Bitcoin. But at the same time, if Bitcoin moves up, your stock price is going to move up. And that would be the smartest move for GameStop, because they can just dilute more shares at the top. But either way, whichever road you see here, or whatever road they take, buy a new company, portfolio, Bitcoin, it's going to lead to higher price. It's going to cause this price to increase, because there's going to be speculation on what they're going to do, what the next move is going to do. It could last from months to even a year of speculation. And every time they see a little hint, investors are going to want to buy. So this is why Bitcoin makes sense under $30. Okay, they have, let's see, the actual market cap of 10 billion market cap with 4.5 billion or so in cash. So it's actually profitable. It's not profitable, but it makes sense to be at that $28, which is why you cannot short this anymore, because they have the cash for it. And you notice how the shorts have backed out from this trade. So we're not looking for short squeezes anymore in this trade. What we're looking for is institutional backings and institutional investors buying in, causing the price to increase further, if not just retailers. Okay, so that is the position that I'm in, guys, and this is where I'm at. with 20,000 profit, 8,500 shares. And honestly, a lot of you are asking me about the target for this. The target is anywhere from $40 to $100. It all depends on what plays out in the next couple of weeks, days. Okay, guys, that's me done. Peace and love as always. If you want more updates, either you follow me on Instagram or you join the Patreon. Even the free version will give you access to these updates that I have. Okay, and I'll see you guys when it's time to close. Appreciate you for watching. Bye-bye.